Hello, lovers. Welcome back for another lecture. Today we are going to use tone paper. Subject would be a multiple layer complex object, such as the pine cone. Many people might be intimidated by the subject when they look at the pine cone because there are so many layers, there's so many petals. So today we are going to learn how to draw this complex object. Let's get started. At the beginning, I'm just going to draw really simple shape. As I always saying, think simple at the beginning. So this pine cone is on a branch, a small branch, and I will just really quickly identifying the object with simple indication. Pretty much like that. At this point, it's really simple. As you can see, I always disregard the details at the beginning. And I often saying that details are overrated at the beginning, but it's crucial and also important at the end of the process. So you can get more finesse look to the creation. Next, I'm just looking for shadows. Actually, the shadow comes this way, like this. The direction of the light source. As you can see right now, I'm not dealing with any petals. I'm dealing with the whole general shape. And this will be the cast shadow. There's some extra petals right here. At this point, this might even look like an apple, but that's okay. As I said, this is the way that I would think in my head when I'm doing my artwork. Not necessarily the only way to compose the artwork and also the subject. Some people like to do each petal to begin with. That's fine. That's totally fine with me. I'm just once again here to share with you how I go about with my process. So if you think that you are benefiting with my videos, you're welcome to share it with your friends. And also, don't forget to subscribe and click like to support more videos to come. So, as I said, this is just the basic, just the beginning. Really basic, nothing special. It is harder to simplify the subject when the subject is complex. Then keep looking for details when there is on. The reason why it's harder because there are temptations temptations for you to do all the refined details really quickly and go straight to the refinement in the beginning. To see if you can help your resistance to prolong the process a little bit at the beginning, observe and also absorb the information this subject is providing for you. So, as I said, this is the beginning of process what I have done. The next thing I would need to do, which is unifying all my shadows, just like the other artwork I have composed. Simple, really simple. And I often said it's easy, right? If you think easy, it will become easier. Not necessarily will become really, really easy, but each subject is not a easy subject to do, but think in terms of easy, an easy approach will make your life easier, isn't it? Because you have confidence towards your subject, in being intimidated by your subject. Get to know your subject and find out the reason why that you're doing something in a certain way. As I have been showing many demos on YouTube lately, and each one of the subject you can see I kind of have a different approach, slightly different approach, because the subject, the way that how it appears, things like that. But overall, the one main thing that I keep saying is think simple. That is being consistently sharing with everybody. Think simple. Don't think too complicated. And don't be intimidated by the subject. Doesn't matter how complex of the subject. There are a few elements that it consistently appears on the subject. So if you can get those basic element correct, or you realize what they are, then you're not afraid of it. You don't need to be afraid of it. And after that, you probably will start enjoying the process actually. No longer fear of the subject, but trying to see what you can do and enjoying yourself a lot more. It becomes less painful too. Drawing and painting is supposed to be more relaxing and also enjoyable, but yeah, to some people it's actually a torture. So okay, so you can see this is similar to what I've been showing with the other subjects. Just simplify. And also I choose a darker tone of paper today. The reason why, because the local value of the subject is more darker. So I choose a darker value of the paper. Now I'm just going to clean up a little. Clean up my subject a little. I don't necessarily have to clean it up, but in this process, I would like to clean up a little more for you guys to see. Many times when I'm doing my artwork, I seldom cleaning as much. Seldomly using the eraser at the beginning. After the basic is established, now I need to go and find out the patterns of each petal, not individually, but in a group. Find out the movement and see how they look like. This method you can actually also use on such as pineapple or multiple layers object, more complex object. So this is what I would do. As I said, it doesn't mean that it's the only way to do, but it works well for me. So that's why I choose to decided to share with you guys. Okay, there are some petals actually outside the mapping area. So this is time for me to get those extra come in. I'm looking at the general movement of all the patterns. So this is how I map in with the subject. And then the next stage, I will go ahead and go in and refining the sections of each petal and try to understand how the value and shapes appear and give it a nice kind of indication and give it a little more rendering. Now each petal also have a subtle amount of value change. I cannot just do one value on top. I also have to consider the value from one end to the other end. Perhaps I can save some of those value for the pencil, the white chalk to come in later on. Since this is a tone paper. So by doing this, now actually the subject looking more like a pine cone. I'm not following 100% of the outlook of the pine cone, as this is a short demo. I don't have time to refine the exact number of each petal. So I have to be a little more selective and also get to the point quickly. If I'm not in a hurry, I spend, let's say, 20 hours, 30 hours on top, I will do more refinement on top. I will calculate a little more precise, make sure the subject look even more realistic and also more believable. So as you can see now, it's coming. The subject is becoming more and more look like a pine cone. Do a little more for the petals in the shadow. I still can see a little bit information on each petal. And now I'm trying to use a little bit positive and negative shapes to identifying more of the structure. And also on this side, both sides, because some of the area actually you can see a little bit more in between. There's a space from background and connected to the subject, things like that. To give a little more believable idea that is a pine cone. So like this, just carefully looking at those negative shapes. And I'm using more of my eraser at this point to follow the patterns what I have set up and execute more with my eraser at this point. Not everywhere, okay, not everywhere. You have to be, once again, selective. What can be done? What cannot be done? You have to ask yourself. Now I'm just use my Trello to get into a little more information and describing the darker tone and making sure the subject appears a little bit more realistic. In the meanwhile, I'm shading, putting a little more information on top of the drawing. I would like to take a chance to also to thank all the viewers who have supported me throughout the previous lectures and also demos. However, I also would like to make an announcement to those people who who left hatred messages. If you don't like my video, you can simply disregard and ignore the lectures, and please be respectful. Don't use hateful language and leave your comments and doing personal attack. That is not going to do any good for anybody. And so I would kindly ask people, if my lecture is helpful to you, I thank you for your support. If my lecture is not what you like to see or is not beneficial to you, you can kindly just disregard and ignore my video. Please don't leave any hateful messages and calling people names. I thank you for everybody's respect, and I respect everyone who are watching and supporting my videos. Without you, I probably would not continue to do more of these kind of lectures because it's time consuming and also taking away a lot of energy. So if you are appreciate, and I also would like you to show your appreciation, at least not leaving hateful or hatred kind of message and comments and calling people names. I thank you for your cooperation and thank you for your appreciations. And thank you very much. And as you guys can see now, At this point, I'm using more of the positive and negative space and do a little more indication. You can see there are more petals, right? Earlier it was looking like an apple, but now I'm adding a little more information to increase the realistic looking of the subject. The appearance of the subject is closer to the reality object. So and I'm going to do a little more indication for the negative area, squeezing my eraser to a finer point, as I mentioned to the viewers in the past how to use all the tools. Now I'm using the same way that I have shared with the viewers before, and how to use my eraser properly. Okay, so at this point I have indicated enough information for the dark tone, and probably I will also pick out a little more information here and there before putting in any white tone on top. Now after the pine cone is pretty much set up, and I'll go ahead and add a little more texture on the branch itself to give a little more kind of a finesse looking. Now this is the time that I would do my details. As I mentioned earlier, that details I would not do at the beginning. It doesn't mean the detail is not important. It only means I reserve the best for the last. Some people can't wait to do the details, to get on to the goodies at the beginning. As I always saying that, save the best for the last. At this point, I'm still looking at some of the bigger details to build up more refined details later on. I'm not in a hurry, even though I'm in a hurry, but I'm not in a hurry to ruin my drawing after I spend so much time to build things up. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm in a hurry, but I'm not in a hurry to ruin my drawing. So that's something that I would like to share. Some of the students I have taught in the past, they spend about 20 to 30 hours on a subject, nicely done for most part, and all of a sudden, because they look at the time, or maybe they think that they already have spent so much time or not enough energy to carry on to finalize the object, and they will just roughly indicate at the last minute, maybe 2 minutes. But that 2 minutes actually dragged down so much of the finished quality, and the finished outlook look unfinished. That's what it is. Without those rush details, actually the subject look more defined and finished, but because of something that they think that add on, but don't have enough time to do it, but they still want to add on, that create issues. So that's why I was saying that I'm in a hurry, but I'm not in a hurry to destroying or and damaging my previous build-ups and all the effort I put in earlier. I'm not gonna waste all those time. I slow down myself a little bit, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much. Thus, will make a difference between a successful artwork or something just roughly indicate. And nowadays, seems people have less and less patience to do things. Actually, everything needs to pass and appear and finish. But drawing itself is a meditation. To me, it's time to relax a little. Why so tense, right? So I'm adding a bit here and there with the details to give a more finesse look to the subject. I hope what I said earlier makes sense to the viewers. That's why my movement actually is never really fast. It's quite slow, as you can see the way that I move my medium, just because I speed up some of the videos. Look like my hand going super fast, like 100 miles per hour. But actually, in reality, my movement is quite slow. Okay, this is how much of the information I would like to indicate on the subject. At the pinecone area, I'm just going to erase a little bit more to get ready for the white chalk to come in. So after the white chalk comes into the subject, and pretty much I can call the subject is done. As once again, this is a short demo, so this is how much I would show you and share with you. And once again, I'm not filling in the whole thing once kind of a similar value, but do a little bit gradations. Also planning ahead what needs to be done and how you like to go about. I'm just indicating here and there a little. Something like that. Still gonna erase a little bit here. Give a little bit touch. Since the pine cone has local value, I'm not going to do really bright on the subject because the subject not to be too bright. And also that's the reason why that I choose the darker tone on the paper. When you use tone paper, the benefit you have, which is you can actually choose the level of the tone that you want to use and minimize your effort. That's the things I like about the tone paper. I'm going to dab out some. The branch right here actually supposed to be a little bit brighter, but I would like to keep it this way, and let the pine cone itself to become more stronger. I have the artistic license, right? Not necessarily copy everything that I see, but I do have to think about how to make my subject come even better than the subject in front of me. When you museum or go to the art galleries, when you look at a piece of artwork, what will you ask? Will you ask for the gallery owner or the museum representative, hey, can I see the reference of the subject? I want to know, is that exactly how he looked like? I don't think that anybody would ask that, right? So that is artistic kind of a advantage for the artists they have, because we can choose what to do to make the subject become even better than the object in front of us. That's after you get to a certain level. Of course, just at the beginning, you start try to do whatever you want to do without a basic. Anything that you want to do more in advanced kind of a style and also techniques, you have to know your basics first. You have to know the rule before you break the rule. Some people at the beginning just looking at some of the more experienced the professionals or the experts to do things in a way that they see is cool, and they copy exactly what they were doing, but without knowing why they're doing it. That is a difference between a professional than a hobbyist, I would say. That's my personal remark. So some people might not agree with me. That's fine. That's my own opinion towards the subject. So I would always saying that try to understand your subject. Try to learn how to walk before you learn how to jump, and before you learn how to run or even fly, right? So the reason why I bring this up, I mentioned it earlier. I have the artistic license to kind of make things a little more attractive in my own kind of concept. After that, I have figured out some things that I can actually use to improve my artwork to become even more attractive. So practice on. I would like to encourage everyone, keep practicing. Hopefully this gives you enough information for you to try it out and for you to start with your subject. Don't be intimidated by the outlook of the subject. Think simple, as I always saying. Think simple. When you're facing difficulty, think simple. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.